Let me know when you hear.
Starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Hey everyone, it is Tuesday night and it is your girl SC Bookout 843 and I am here with another book. So, you guys know that I love that fast type street lit, but sometimes you got to slow it down, okay? So now we're going to take it back and I'm getting looking at this cover, I'm getting a little bit of historical fiction, but I might be wrong. Okay, you guys? But I am loving the cover because the cover of this is so innocent and it's in my favorite color, brown. Y'all already know. Love the tones of brown. So I have an author whose book is soon to be released. That is such an honor to have her here before it even drops. So y'all get all the information about her book. So tonight, I'm going to bring up author Mrs. Antoinette, and we're going to be talking about the Juke Joint's daughter. Now, if you from the South, y'all know about that juke joint. So we're going to bring her up so she can talk about her book. Come on up, girlie.
Hello.
Hey, Tiva.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing quite well. Quite well. I ran some errands. Nothing exciting. I did some editing too today for the book. But other than that, it's just been a smooth, easy day.
Awesome, awesome. So we're looking at this beautiful cover,
Yeah.
the Juke Joint's daughter.
Yeah.
Before we get into the cover, tell us a little bit about the author. You, ma'am.
So, my name is Elise Antoinette. I am just a young writer who is still finding my way in this industry, honestly. But I love to create. I love to tell stories. I love to tell stories that I feel like aren't being told enough right now in this industry, including more historical fiction. So I personally love reading just historical fiction as well. So that's what kind of made me want to write my own.
You know, that's crazy because that is one genre that is like very much non-existent when it comes to African American writers.
Mhm.
And I work at a library, y'all. I can maybe count on my hand possibly 3 to 4 African American historical fiction.
Wow.
And it's crazy because yeah, and I'm kind of painting the shells. I really have not seen much. Now I've worked at a library for 20 years now, and I have not seen that historical African American fiction blow up. Now, when it does come to African American historical, we got all the books about who is who, and then we have the books about the flight and everything we've gone through. But to bring fiction into it,
Mhm.
not much. So I'm going to ask you, why historical fiction?
Honestly, just kind of what you just said, just piggybacking from that, again, my love for already reading historical fiction, a lot of the stories were either rooted in, slavery or during slavery times, or even if it wasn't necessarily about slavery in general, we were just still so oppressive or in an oppressive state, which, yes, those things exist at that time, but people still had so much life to give without always just showing how oppressed they were or how, bad things were. Like, yes, we will never forget that. We can never, forget that part of our history, but that shouldn't be all that we see or that we read. There were people, owning their own homes in their late 40s, running businesses, juke joints, there were doctors, nurses. So, I mean, and I just wanted to really tell that side of our history, of our story, and not just the same stories that are rooted in our oppression.
Makes a lot of sense. Because I'm thinking now, and I'm thinking about entertainment altogether.
Mhm.
There are a lot of movies now that are coming up with that historical fiction and
Mhm.
African American historical fiction. Y'all know the biggest one that's out there that I finally watched. My coworkers made me sit down there and watch Sinners.
That's my
It was
movie.
it was boring up to like maybe 45 minutes in the movie. I was like, what is this? And they were sitting up there laughing at me like, Trees, you gotta go through it. You gotta go through it. I said, this is boring. Then when everything started happening, this is me, she kill him. Ooh. So yes, when it comes to historical fiction, I think when it comes to film and media, we have a decent amount. I won't say a great amount, but I would say a decent amount. But when
Mhm.
it comes to literature, we don't. So I thank you for taking on this. I really thank you. So tell us a little bit about the Juke Joint's daughter.
Yeah. So where do I start? Well, the cover, um, a lot of my stuff starts here. Like most creators, we don't really have a playbook of how most of our stuff is brought to life. It just starts in our mind first. So since I'm a filmmaker, this book actually started out as a film idea, and it was just this seed that was planted about, having a coming of age story about a girl from Arkansas. She has a dad that that was abandoned or that abandoned her, but she wants to start a new life and go and find him. So there were different scenes that would just come to me. I personally love the movie Eve's Bayou, and Their Eyes Are Watching God. And so I just, wanted to have a character who kind of resembles a little bit of Janie off Their Eyes Are Watching God. Like she's kind of favors her a little bit, but I didn't want to create another Janie or another Eve, from Eve's Bayou. So I just wanted to have, my own strong African American girl coming of age story, and I would just have different scenes, and eventually I landed, with the juke joint because I love music. I love, old jazz and blues music, and I personally hadn't even stepped foot into a juke joint before. I'm just from the deep south. I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So blues has always been in my life since I was a child. I would go to Blues on the River. My grandfather, played the guitar. So I just wanted to create a type of story that was rooted in, blues and music, but also a woman, finding herself in the South. And so that's how we got the juke joint started.
Now that's crazy because I've been in a juke joint one time. And like literally they were in there frying fish and stuff like this. And it was crazy. In South Carolina, we had these little Adam runs, Buck Hall, and I think I went to Tidwinville. Okay, Y'all,
What's it
it's a
called?
little city, like Tidwinville.
Okay, never heard of that.
It's
Okay.
one of those cities. Blink twice, you already been through the city and come out the city. And I've been to a juke joint, and it is one of the coolest spots in America. It's like everybody laid back, and then I was like, okay, now somebody granddaddy go try to holler at me out here, but it was a great atmosphere. So
Mhm.
I truly do understand that. So yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this cover. I am a cover girl. If your books are a great cover, it goes on the list. And if you only know how long my list is, oh God. How did you get the inspiration for this cover? It's beautiful. It's
Thank
very beautiful.
you. Thank you. Well, so Ruthie, she's holding a journal. I know it kind of looks like a Bible, but it's actually a journal. And
I was
so,
gonna ask.
yeah, it's a journal. And so, um, when Ruthie was a child, a way for her to kind of stay close to her dad, whose name is Titus, she would write these letters, journal entries, and she would say, "Dear Titus," and she would just like talk about her day, talk about how her mom pissed her off or made her upset. And so, um, she goes there to find him with nothing but her suitcase, in this journal because it's just kind of a way. This journal is her way of keeping her dad close throughout these whole years. And, the juke joint in the back is obviously, the juke joint will eventually kind of raise Ruthie when she gets there. So, what I forgot to mention is that so Ruthie, she leaves her home, ends up in this town, and she didn't know that her father owned a juke joint. She just knew that he left to run some business in Louisiana, but she didn't know it was a juke joint. And so when she gets there, her goal is to, tell Titus who she is right away so she could get her money and go on her way. She wants to go to Spelman. But instead of uh, instead of the truth coming out right away, Titus mistakenly thinks that she's the new server. And so Ruthie's like, "Yeah, I'm the new server." So she ends up working for him instead of telling him the truth. And so most of the story is just her working there, trying to figure out when to tell him while there's so many things happening around the juke joint and the juke joint. And she just learns so much about herself, so much about life within this juke joint. And so, again, in a way, the juke joint has a way of raising her while she is, working there and living in this small Louisiana town.
Okay, okay. So let me ask you, what made you want to start writing?
So, I actually, my childhood is kind of complicated. I feel like most, writers, we just kind of always have that question that we get asked, but like we don't really know how to answer. At least I don't, because I started writing after my mother died when I was a very young child, and so writing became a way for me to heal by her passing. And so I would start out writing stories for characters who either lost a parent, like their mom or their dad, but it was always a single, family household and or two kids that didn't have, both their parents. So I kind of started out to me writing like dark short stories, and for me to be only 11 or 12, it's like, girl, what was you going through? And in my case, a lot. But writing was just a safe way for me to let my feelings, just be put on paper, basically. And my first story that I ever wrote was called The Boy with Water and Love in His Body. And it follows a young boy who moves to a new town after he lost his dad. And basically, his next door neighbor helps him regain his passion for swimming because he lost it when his dad died. And I have this story to this day. Like, I should have bought it with me for this interview, but it's just a written out, beginning to end book that my child self wrote it. And that's so cool to just have that physical evidence of where it all started. I feel like not many authors are blessed, to have their first piece of work. So that's why I am so honored and blessed to have physical evidence that, listen, I've been doing this for a very long time. And, it is kind of hard for me to not get discouraged sometimes because I'm not published. I don't have a fancy publisher, but none of that matters when you physically see that you've been doing this before you, even really knew what writing was, what being an author was. So,
Girl, listen here, girl. You do not need the backing of those big publishing houses. You can do it on your own, and I see that you are in the process of doing it, and you're doing it way more than people who should have already done it, and people who want to do it but have not chosen to do it. But you have wanted to do it, you're chosen to do it, you're in the process of doing it. And how I told one author, now you're about to you're about to go to birthing, and you're about to bring that book out. So let me ask you a question. How do you think it's going to feel to have that book into your hands?
ooh, girl, it's gonna feel like a chocolate milkshake on a hot, hot summer South day, okay? Just cool you off. Like, it's gonna feel good. It's gonna feel, honestly, I'm probably gonna cry. I'm an emotional little girl, so I'm definitely gonna cry because it just feels like, I'm making my childhood dreams come true, basically. So I'll be crying for my adult self, putting in the work, but also for my child self, being like, hey, girl, we did it. You kept going. After just so much in life, you kept going. And I am just personally ready to read the book over as a reader and not the author, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because, obviously, as authors, we always have to go back and read our work, but I'll just be glad when, I'm not reading for edits or reading for, formatting, grammar. Like, I'm just reading to enjoy the story, which I really haven't gone back to read it other than, just going over edits. But I can say, girl, there were some scenes that I would write that would just leave me in tears. And I would have to take breaks just because it made me that emotional. So if I get that emotional just by writing scenes out and then like having to like move on to the next one, I can just only imagine being able to read it straight through. So I'm excited.
Oh, that is awesome. So, what is your target audience for the Juke Joint's daughter? Who who would you say should read your book?
um, well, then, I mean, 18 plus, 20 plus, the character is 18, but I know most, some teenagers don't really read that much these days. So just to safely assume, I would say at least starting out at like 20 plus. I think, young women my age, like 30 plus, but also um, women who are like 50 and up too would enjoy this because like this is a time that they can relate to the music, they can relate to being a Southern woman in the Jim Crow oppressive South. And again, even though the story doesn't really cover, I mean, there is some racism in the book, but it's not in your face. So I just know that older generational Black women will be able to relate to my character story as well.
Awesome. So, when you are not writing, what are you doing just to enjoy yourself, pass the time away? What are you doing just to, after reading such an intense scene, what do you do?
I am watching a scary movie. I love movies. I love horror movies. romance movies. Um, yeah, I like watching movies. I also love horses, so I'll find a local barn or a horse farm, and I'll go and pet some horses, read to them, talk to them. Horses ground me; they're my spirit animal, and so yeah, I love being out in nature, hikes, walks.
Okay. So you are really a
Oh,
down south girl.
listen, I got my country boots by the porch, like
So what is the last movie you've looked at?
last movie. Ooh, ooh. I don't know because I'm really stuck on watching A Different World right now. That's like the last
Hold
thing
it.
I've watched.
Did you
So
just say a different girl?
yes, that's my show. We here.
That's my
So
please, baby, please. That's my show. So okay, so let me ask you a question. What do you think about this reboot when they bring in?
um, so I have concerns, and I have
Okay,
concerns because with a different, I just when they reboot anything, it's just like, okay, like, are you sure? Should we really do this? But it's just like A Different World was more than just, a show about, you know, HBCU. Like, yes, it was, but at that time, they covered so much that was happening, and they had so many um, legends on that show. And it's just like they cannot do that now because, a lot of the people have, passed on. And so it's just like, I don't think that, I mean, I support anybody's artistic, you know, journey, but I wish that they would just, instead of calling it A Different World, just make another HBCU show and just call it something else. Like, why do you have to go back and try to change what was already, great, what already worked at that time? I feel like when you go back and have to reboot something, it's just never going to be the same. So while I don't necessarily agree with it, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to support it or watch it because I mean I try to support my people, but I mean if it's not, you know, if it ain't hidden, I'm definitely going to give my review on it.
I
Basically.
know. It's like when they did this Freshman of Bel Air reboot. I thought for sure it was going to be comedy, but it was dark. I was
Yeah.
like, hold up, man.
But
Those were the
if
fun times in life,
yeah,
But why you want to take me down this dark alley? I ain't never knew none of this was going on, but
yeah.
I
I
don't
do
know.
like that reboot. Now I will kind of be guilty with that. Like I don't hate the Bella reboot, but I do understand what you're saying. Like why did we have to take something that was, lighthearted and a good comedic relief to have something that has you crying or triggered after some episodes? Like
Like, dag, Hillary, you were doing that. So, I understand. I am for this reboot. I am kind of afraid because now we talk about Whitney Daughters. So first of all, who y'all gonna get to play her? Second of all, where we going at with this?
right,
Are we gonna have Dwayne, Whitney, like a lot of the core group is there, but those supporting characters like Mr. Gaines, he's gone. So I'm like, who we gonna have? But
right.
I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna give it a
It's
chance.
yeah, it's like not only who are we gonna have, but those people are not replaceable. Like they're just not so even if they you can't do it because you can't replace greatness.
There you go. You can't bring back Mr. Gaines as Samuel L. Jackson. That just does not work.
Right.
So so I told you behind the scenes that we have this session that's called Fun Questions. Okay, so fun question number one. Who would play your main character in the Juke Joint's daughter, and why? And you can only pick someone in the 90s television era?
Oh.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, that one's kind of hard. That made it hard for myself.
So, like, are we saying like they are at that same age in the 90s, or like they like weren't we? Because
They would be an actor, or I'm sorry, an actress who was very
oh, okay,
defined in the 90s.
okay. Um, oh my
Ooh,
gosh.
that's hard. Oh, I made that one hard. I'm sorry.
It's okay. 'Cause I'm trying.
Um, I
Maybe
don't
maybe
think.
Robin Givens. I know that she like the younger version of her because she could totally play someone who's like 18, 19. It's a very mature role because although
Mhm.
she is a child, she goes through a lot of mature things, and this is only part one of the series. So Ruthie is gonna grow up. So if I had a character that I would want to see her in, every movie like one, two, and three, I think it would be Robin Givens.
Okay. Okay. So, my question two. You just had Lifetime call and they say they want to make the Juke Joint's daughter into a movie. Who would you want to co direct with you? And why did you choose that person?
Uh, Spike Lee.
Ooh, ooh. Why Spike Lee?
I mean Malcolm X. Hello, like that one. That was a great movie.
He
Spike.
did.
Yeah, Spike Lee has an amazing way of capturing the African American, you know, um, experience through different time periods. And so that's why I would totally choose him because he would help me bring that time period to life through cinema.
He does, because he did a great job and did the right thing.
Hmm.
Then we have Malcolm X. Didn't he do good or bad hair? I cannot remember the title of that one. It was the fraternity movie, Treese.
School days.
School Days.
Hmm.
Yes. So
Yep.
I can see that. I can see that. Well, Lifetime enjoyed the Juke Joint's daughter. And then they call back and they say, you know what? We love that movie so much. We want to make a film about you. Who are we going to cast for you? And why did you give that person that honor?
Mm. Mm. Would I be petty if I said me?
No, you would be on point if you said you.
Like, I don't.
That means nobody can come or touch you. That you know you the best. So Lifetime is saying, you want to do it? Well, why not somebody else? Why do you want to do it yourself?
Yeah, because like I said, no one else can play me, and I just feel like um, I I've been through so much that it wouldn't matter if I told that actress XYZ. They wouldn't be able to capture the raw emotion of me of living my life. So, like only I could do that.
All right. So we are coming down to the last week in our summer reading challenge. Okay. I am going to say a word, and you guys know that if you send me the word, make sure you log your reading, you get extra points. What I've been doing is have my authors who are being interviewed tell us what this word means to them, or something funny, or just anything about that word. Okay, so are you guys ready for our secret code word of the week? You guys, this word is very special to me, so I'm going to tell you why first, and then I'll ask my author. The word is school. I am so honored that my baby girl is going to be graduating this year. Tomorrow is going to be her first day of fifth grade. I don't know who's more nervous, her or me, but I know I'm going to be bawling my little eyes out. I can't help it. But nobody tell her. I'm ready for her to go because this summer stomach is working on my winter wallet, if you understand what I'm saying, okay? So, what does the word school mean to you?
You're asking me or this?
You,
Oh, me?
Miss
Oh,
Antoinette.
school. The first word that comes to my mind, uh, redo.
Ooh, ooh, why?
Um, I think that there is I put so much pressure on myself to personally fit into the school where I was, and so I feel like, going back now, I would be able to focus more on the education, which yes, that I got that, graduated cool, it was great, but I feel like I just put too much pressure on myself to fit into the social forms of school,
Mm,
and I would have focused more on my writing too. I stopped writing when I was in high school, so I would have, continued my writing journey and probably would have been published by now, but that's okay. But I definitely would have um, just put more focus on building Elise up as a person instead of believing what people, told me in school. If that makes sense.
understandable, understandable. So we are getting down to the wire, but you gotta tell us how we can follow you, get ready for this book. Just give us the rundown.
Yeah, so you can definitely follow me on most social media platforms. On Facebook, it's under It's Love She Wrote, or you can follow my personal page, Elise Antoinette, or I think it's Brittany Elise. And then on Instagram, it's XOXO L is my personal page, and the writing page is It's Love She Wrote. And then I actually have a TikTok page just for the Juke Joint's Daughter. It's at the Juke Joint's Daughter. And while I don't have any events, coming up right now because it's not released yet, I have partnered with some local juke joints. There's like four that's left in the South, and I already got one in Mississippi that agreed to let me do a live book reading there. So just make sure that you follow me so you can, know when I have that event there because I'm going to have a live reading at one of the last standing juke joints in America. That's huge, and I want all of y'all there. So just make sure you're following me.
Oh, now I love that. That is so creative. I love that. That
Thank
is awesome.
thank you.
We would like to thank you for being with us tonight on this Tuesday night. You guys follow her right down at the bottom. You see all of her social media links to make sure that you grab your copy of the Juke Joint's Daughter once it is released. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank
You
y'all.
guys, I will be here Tuesday. Well, no, today is Tuesday. So I'll be here Thursday. I have another author. And y'all, this book. Who Jesus, that's all I can say. Y'all see the cover on the cover. But thank you guys. It's another Tuesday nights in the books, and I will see y'all Thursday. To all the babies who are going back to school that have started school, going back tomorrow or going back the next couple of weeks, you guys, go ahead, make it do what it do. Be good, be blessed, be strong. Y'all have the backing of your community. And remember, you got this. You guys, there's no such thing as an old book because not everybody has read every book. Good night, everyone. Bye.